All right, boys. I got coming hot today. Got to do it. It's been a while, but I'm upset. Okay. Remember when I told you guys that about Letterboxd, and I thought like how it would be cool for us to make one because I thought like a social media dedicated to movies was pretty cool. Remember that?
Yeah, I recall.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Turns out it's like the most pretentious fucking platform imaginable. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's like the platform's doing, probably partially, but it's like a lot of the people that use it. Its core concept is to like basically leave short reviews on things. And that in turn makes people like, it's just everything you read on there is just like a quippy, minimizing like 2-sentence fucking like own about the thing that they're reviewing or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, other people's work. And we've talked about it a lot. Like, even when we don't like something, like we've shat on some things here on the show, but like, I don't know. I kind of don't really like the idea of like disrespecting somebody's work, whether we like it or not. There are some times where I feel like movies we watch like disrespect us as the audience, where I will shit on them, but I try not to do that. But this site Letterbox, there's just like no nuance to it whatsoever. It's just a congregation of the worst fucking people imaginable. And so as you could imagine, I get a lot of like in my feed, my Twitter feed, I get a lot of like film Twitter like posts. Yeah. And it's just all people it's just cool to shit on things. Nobody likes anything. Everything is shit on. I've seen Alien Romulus being shit on. I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine being shit on. I've seen it, you name it, there's a person who fucking hated it. And that's like, it's, you know, it's rage bait stuff, of course, but like 9 times out of 10. Go ahead, what?
Is the website monetized in the way of interacting with posts like Twitter?
I honestly, I don't know.
I was going to say it's hard to tell when someone's genuinely dislikes something or if they're just doing it for
totally
the clicks. Well, you get money from the clicks.
You might be onto something, because I was going to say every time I see like a negative post on Twitter, 10 out of 10 times, honestly, it's like 100% accuracy. That person has their Letterbox link in their Twitter profile. And it's like, they go hand in hand now. So I don't know. I think I just
Did you just see his thing flash white or?
Yeah, it's been happening every few seconds. I don't know what that's
about. Yeah, that meant peak internet usage right here, guys. Good luck.
Oh,
what's going on?
He's flashing white like
he
fucking...
froze. He's gone. It's over.
Oh fuck!
It's Jover.
Episode 100.
He's back.
This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Yeah, episode 100. We've done it. We made it. We're here. We stuck with it. We missed some episodes, but you know, I think we've done a good job. We've grown pretty good, I think. You know, nice, modest little growth. So thank you, everybody.
Honest growth.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who has subscribed and liked our videos. Keep doing that, because that helps boost us in the powerful algorithm. Just leave a like. It's free. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, do a little engagement, because that's what the fucking world's about these days, is engagement, right? Got to get that engagement. And we're not going to rage bait. We won't do it. I refuse.
That's not entirely true.
You think I rage bait? We don't rage bait.
No, we don't really rage bait.
No, come on. Sometimes we do, but it's funny when we do it. And it's not for engagement. It's not for engagement. It's just to be funny and to like poke the fucking weirdos out there, you know?
Yep.
But episode 100, how have you guys been doing since last episode?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched much. I actually have been watching One Piece, the anime.
Oh.
It's pretty good. It's famous for having like a bunch of episodes, right? Like, I think it's like 1,000 episodes or something crazy.
Really?
But there's this group of people that they basically kind of condensed all the episodes, got rid of all the filler, just made the overall watching experience a lot shorter. It's called One Pace because like the pacing is a lot better.
Does it skip episodes?
It kind of does. So it's
Yeah,
just
there used to be a website called Skippable that you like if there was a show that was like 100 or 1,000 or 300, whatever, it would tell you like these are the episodes that are important to the
Must
story
watch,
overall
right.
storyline, and these are the like freak
Wow.
of the week that nothing really happens.
I would
Skip it.
hate that. That's like some cutscene skipping shit in video games, which I know Marvin does. Marvin's a cutscene skipper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at him. Look at him.
Depending on, I mean, if I want to watch it, if I want a story for the most part, I'll just watch a movie. Like unless it's a good game, like it has to be a really good game though.
These kids these days, Dusty, they don't understand.
But
No, my roommate Sean, he's got a couple years on me. He's a cutscene.
Let me tell you something, Marvin. You haven't lived unless you've played a Metal Gear game where at some points you just put your controller down and lean back for like 20 minutes and just fucking watch some shit.
I mean, that sounds fine though, because that's like a good story. I'm just saying, like,
no, I feel you.
a lot of games don't have really good stories.
Elden Ring.
I've run into some people, sociopaths, who skip segments of movies and shows they're watching. Like,
oh, that's whack.
Like ADHD fucking psychopaths. Like, go take a pill.
Oh, I can do that on some shows.
Nah, that's crazy. I don't understand that at all. Like, I get that that's like a medical diagnosis thing, but like to be watching something and be like, nah, this is boring. Let me skip ahead a bit. It's like, what the fuck?
Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird to me.
Yeah, I typed in One Piece episode count, and like you were saying, Dan, it has the AI overview synopsis. It has over 1,100 episodes.
Damn.
As of August 2024.
That's crazy. The first example of what you're talking about that I'm familiar with might predate the internet in its current form, and it's for my favorite show of all time, The X-Files. Marvin, you started watching it, and
need to finish that. Great show. I love it. I just forgot about it.
Well,
until just now.
So you know how there's like the Monster of the Week episodes as they were coined?
Yeah.
Where it's like just a random investigation detached from the main story, which came to be known as the mythology episodes. So there's the mythology episodes, and then there's the Monster of the Week episodes. There were box sets, DVD box sets, that separated the two. You could buy just the Monster of the Week episodes, and you could buy just the mythology collection, which I always thought was kind of cool. I, of course, own the full box set because I'm a completionist in that way, but I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. No, I was going to say, when you've seen a certain scene before and you know where it's going, you've seen that scene 100, like, okay, the girl is, she's a little upset and he's going to comfort her and they're going to hug and kiss and there's some sobbing.
Skipping through you're talking about. Okay.
There's some stuff, where like you've seen a scene 100 times before and you're watching it again and you're like, all right, I know what they're doing here. I just want to I do that sometimes. And I'll actually, like, I've been watching Batman Cape Crusader. Sometimes I'll just sit out on the patio.
Nice.
Light up a cigar or something, and I'll watch it, like, tilt the TV and watch it with closed captions and just read while I'm watching what's going on. I don't even listen to it.
I can't do that. I actually was just having this conversation. Well, funny enough, Marvin and I have recently butted heads. Not really butted heads about it, but with the streaming service that we use. Or that Marvin's been using.
Very good. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. I can't watch stuff with subtitles unless like I have to. And even then I find them distracting. Because listen, everybody watches content differently, and I'm not here saying that like I am a film fucking guy and like I understand like my buddy George, he went to film school. He knows how like lenses affect shots and like lighting and all the technical stuff. I know a little bit of it, but not enough to where like I sit there and watch a movie and like really appreciate those things. He does. I don't watch stuff that way. However, I do like to be immersed, and when I'm reading, it's hard for me to do that because you're bouncing back between the text and the fucking shot, and I just can't have subtitles on. If I don't need them, I find them very, very distracting. And I just had a conversation with somebody else who's like Marvin, who's like, I just watch with subtitles on all the time because I actually can't concentrate if the subtitles aren't there, which I'm like, okay.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
That's weird.
I could just ignore them. I just like to have them there because, as you know, sometimes people just are mumbling, like actors are mumbling, or like, what the fuck did he just say? And
the AC kicks on. It's a quiet scene. You didn't quite hear what he said. What'd she say? Like, I don't know. Rewind it and fucking put the subtitles on.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Yep.
But
But yeah, going to back real quick to what you were saying about skipping, I would never skip forward, but I have done like a little 1.25x, you know what I'm saying? To get
that's crazy too.
To get through a little.
Yeah,
I've done that.
We've
just a little bit.
Come on, everybody, you've done it, Dan.
He's walking up to the house or some bullshit, doing some shopping or something. I'm like, man, that's
not me.
No, okay. So Dan won't do that. You'll entertain you. You'll pick up your phone and start doing something instead of skipping. You will distract yourself in another way.
But I like to think that I'm still absorbing the information. I hate the feeling that I've missed something.
You tuned out.
I do tune out, yeah. But I still feel like I'm absorbing it, like what's it called, like subliminally. So that's the only thing you've been watching, Marvin? One Piece?
Yeah, One Piece. I did watch a random movie called Double Blind, I think it was called.
Haven't heard of it.
It's like, Double Blind. It came out last year.
Nice.
It's about these guys that sign up for like an experimental drug trial and it kind of just goes wrong.
Oh.
It was all right.
Okay. How about you, Dusty? What you been watching other than Cape Crusader?
Actually,
is that good, by the way?
Serpent. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it's good.
Nice.
It's an homage to the animated series. It's like they rerun through some of the storylines.
Last week we were joking about Oswaldo Cobblepot and like they gender swap Penguin. And I actually read an interview with Bruce Timm, who said he explained why he did it. He was like, I just feel like Batman doesn't have enough cool female villains. Like you have Poison Ivy and you have Catwoman. So
makes sense. I think that's fine.
He's frozen.
Oh fuck.
There he is. He's back. Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I don't think that
I can hear everything you're saying. It's just
okay. Yeah, I don't think that that's that big of a deal. I mean, when he explained it that way, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But I mean, there are good female characters in the DC and Batman genre, so I guess. But like I said, it didn't do anything for me.
Oh,
it didn't like it wasn't so like off-putting. They're like, damn, I don't want to watch this. Like, okay, that's interesting. We got Oswaldo. She's like the motherly type. She got the bumbling sons that she beats up and murders when they fuck up. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else you've been watching? You said you were starting to say something else.
Yeah, Christina and I started watching The Serpent Queen. It's good. It's not great. It's interesting, but it feels like it's kind of lagging on. It's like let's get to some meat of the story.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
You guys have
and then she hasn't watched a bunch of stuff, so I'm trying to get her to start watching stuff. She started watching The Bear, but like she hasn't seen so many things. Better Call Saul.
Oh god. She's Marvin.
Breaking Bad.
Get her on the show.
The Wire.
What's up with women and not watching good shows? That's like a thing, huh?
She's seen some good stuff, but I've got a list for her too. I got to make Christina watch the list.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She was watching Yellowstone though, right?
Yeah.
I remember her commenting on our Yellowstone videos, I think.
Right. Yeah.
You guys got some catching up to do because I'm in like high gear. I'm like zoned in, like basically like borderline like autistic watching shows recently. I told you guys last week I was just cruising through shows while I had COVID. I'm still a little bit nasally, if you guys could hear, but I'm actually feeling better. But
that's good.
I'm continuing my just watching stuff, and it feels fucking good. Like I told you, I'm a completionist. Like I have stuff on my list. I am gonna complete everything that I have on my watch list. Like by the end of the year, mark my words.
That's big.
So this week
There's
I finished
a lot of stuff coming out this year, though.
I know.
That's the problem. You got to keep up with what's coming out and get through that other stuff.
So let me get into it. So I finished The Boys. Very good season. I'm back in, baby. I was like,
oh, it was good.
Yeah,
I heard mixed things for some reason.
No. I did too. I don't know why. It was good.
That was just propaganda. Yeah,
I think so.
Figured.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. We all know that the brunt of the joke has always been like a certain group of people. This season, like, really goes hard on them.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
And I think this is the first time that they've actually connected the dots and realized that, like, they are the joke.
You're talking about us.
Yeah. There's, like, a lot of really funny stuff. But, you know, I thought season 3 was a little bit boring. It was kind of losing me. Gen V, I thought was really good. And Gen V kind of, like,
I got that on my list.
Got me kind of back into it. But this season, I'm back in. I'm ready for the finale whenever it comes out, the final season.
Nice.
This season was good. I also have been watching Monarch with Ed.
Oh, the monsters.
Yeah, oh my God. I'm having such a hard time getting into it.
Really?
Yeah, it's not about the show really. The show is not bad. Like some of the actors in it are like really not good, especially when they're on screen with Kurt Russell, who's a good actor. Like it's very night and day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way watching it, but
oh, it's Apple TV.
Yeah, it is.
What show are we talking about?
Monarch. Pay attention.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you switched.
No.
Sorry.
I'm joking.
I thought Monarch was good. I didn't have any problems with it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I'm looking forward to the next season. It's like the only thing in the MonsterVerse that I liked. Like besides like the Kong movie, like all the movies they've made have been getting a little bit more ridiculous, like Fast and Furious. But Monarch actually, I mean, it got a little weird with the whole.
I haven't finished it, so don't give me spoilers.
Tooth extraction. Yeah, no. It was the Kong movie. I think they did a tooth extraction or something.
In my opinion, the only good MonsterVerse movie.
Power-up glove. The Nintendo Power Glove.
In my opinion, so far, the only good movie has been Kong Skull Island, which I've been pretty like vocal about. It's the only one I've really enjoyed. And like, I'm just having a really hard time getting invested in this show because like, I don't care about the universe, like really. So like they're spinning up this like corporate conspiracy about like how monsters like how we came to be aware of monsters and like what we're doing with them is like it's just a very, I don't know. I just kind of don't give a fuck. And also they changed Godzilla's origins. I realized the last episode I watched, they had him getting like, he was there at Bikini Atoll and they explained that Bikini Atoll was to like eliminate Godzilla. And as you now know, Marvin, from watching -1, is that those nuclear tests created Godzilla in his lore.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they changed that up. I don't know. I'm just having a hard time getting into it. It's really not a measure of the show itself. I think
that's what's great about those movies. Yes.
I think the show is mostly good. It's just I'm having a hard time with it. But I also started a new Apple, dude. I'm on an Apple TV fucking binge.
It's got some good stuff.
They just started.
Have you seen C yet? Have you started C?
No,
I haven't even seen C. I know that was like the first Apple TV show.
That was one of the first ones, or they had the morning show is like in season 3 or 4.
I ignored those.
Also good.
I ignored those, but I'm gonna watch them.
C was cheesy.
But you did watch the one I recommended, the one shot series with the guy in prison, right? The Bird, is that what it was called?
Blackbird?
You watched that one, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I've watched it. That was amazing.
Blackbird, yeah.
Listen,
that's a good one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
There has not been a single thing I've watched from Apple TV that's been bad yet, except for that show Invasion that we all watched with Owen, the one about the aliens. That shit was boring as fuck.
You watched the therapy show too. What was it? Harrison Ford.
Shrinking.
Yeah,
which is great.
That's a great one.
And a good segue.
You didn't like it, Marvin?
I didn't finish
it.
I didn't finish it.
Great segue, because another show I started this week, it just started airing, so it's going to be a week-to-week thing, but I said, fuck it, I wanted to watch the first 2 episodes they aired. But it's Bill Lawrence's new show. Bill Lawrence co-wrote Shrinking. He wrote Ted Lasso. He's wrote Scrubs. He's like a TV god. But he has a new show called Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn. And I watched the first 2 episodes of that.
I want you.
It was pretty good.
Did you watch the Hot Ones with him?
No, not yet.
It was good. He talks about, he gets a good question. I was going to put it in the news, but I didn't. Sean asked him about like, why do you don't think they make good comedies like Tropic Thunder or Old School or Wedding Crashers? He's like, Hollywood has just gotten in its own head, and they're just like, everybody's a yes person, and nobody's afraid to like let people just be fucking funny anymore.
Hey, it's like I told you. That's why I really liked Ricky Stenicki. As dumb as it is, like there's a lack of those stupid comedies from the early 2000s that I think is missed. But yeah, so the first 2 episodes of that show was really good. He plays like a detective who gets like kicked out of the police force, and he's like trying to investigate like a weird murder or something. It's pretty good. It's kind of funny. I forgot to mention last week, actually, one of the first shows I watched when I was sick was Tires. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but it's on Netflix. Easy.
I started it, but I didn't finish it. I have not. Yeah. I started it and then I had to start packing for the move and stuff. And I never really got like, I haven't,
Dude,
there's a bunch of stuff I haven't finished.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's Shane Gillis is in it. And he's like a very funny, popular comedian these days.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
This show is about a bunch of guys that just work in like a fucking Meineke basically, or Jiffy Lube, like just a fucking drive-in.
Well, it's a small town tire shop. It's just a tire shop. There's no corporate chain here. It's just like corner tires or some shit.
I haven't laughed so hard in a while to some shit. It was very funny. And surprisingly, not just because Shane Gillis, like everybody in it is good and funny. So that was really good.
Nice.
This week, I also watched a miniseries from Netflix. It's been on my list for a while. I binge watched it in a single session. Okay. 10 episodes, I think. The Valhalla Murders. It's an Icelandic murder mystery. Fucking phenomenal. Talking about subtitles. See, that's something I obviously need subtitles for.
Foreign flicks,
I will not watch dub shit because dub shit is terrible.
Nah, some of it's all right, but
most
of it's terrible.
If you like a good whodunit murder mystery, man, this show was good.
Okay.
Very, very good.
I guess I should qualify that. There's some good animation that has some decent dubs, like live action dub that I don't think ever works.
Studio
there's some
Ghibli
old kung fu movies that have some good English dubs, like Fist of Legend with Jet Li. That's a great one. You could that's subtitled, but I think they have a dub of it. There's some old good martial arts movies. Jet Li's old stuff before they knew he spoke English.
I just find the voice actors in dubs are usually very not good most of the time.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Marvin?
That's fair.
Well, you said it, animation, but Studio Ghibli dubs are like top tier.
Even those I don't watch dubbed. I'd rather watch them as intended.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll do dub sometimes, especially with animation.
So back to
sometimes
Apple.
I just want to watch it and hear it and not read.
Oh,
but
for
sometimes
sure.
I don't mind reading.
That's fair. Back to Apple. They have another new show that started airing that I started. It's actually almost done. There's one episode left, and I think it finishes on the 22nd. It's called Lady in the Lake. I started that last night. I watched the first 2 episodes. Also very good. An interesting whodunit with Natalie Portman. I think this is Natalie Portman's first TV show appearance in her career. Wow. And it's pretty good so far. It takes place in 1960s Baltimore, and she's like a aspiring.
That can't be true.
I think it is. Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah. And I think she plays an aspiring like journalist.
Yeah.
And so far, the first 2 episodes have been really good. It's nice. It's been good. It's like a little bit like, I don't want to say like surreal, but there are some surreal elements to it, which I find cool.
Why are the reviews so bad?
Honestly, I don't know. I noticed that as well. I looked on IMDb and people were like shitting on it.
I gotta stop worrying about reviews, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even IMDb can't be trusted. It feels like sometimes like.
Well, that's why we do the rating at the end of our things. It's because it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Let's wait for him to come back.
Go ahead.
There he is. Yeah, that's why we do the rating at the end of our stuff, is because ratings are they're dumb. We know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, specifically for this show, I noticed that as well. The IMDb reviews are awful. But the Rotten Tomatoes ones are actually good. And I've almost never seen that disparity before. Usually IMDb is pretty on par with like the Rotten Tomatoes user reviews.
Right.
But for this one, it's not. I don't know why they're bad. I was reading through them last night. I don't understand. I think the show is pretty compelling so far. It's interesting. The way the show is presented. One of the main characters, from the get-go, dies at some point.
Yeah.
Because she's narrating like posthumously.
Right.
So I'm like interested. I'm like, okay, well, cool. Where's this going? And I don't know. It's cool. And it's like 2 communities of people living in the 1960s in Baltimore. You got like the black community of Baltimore and then like the Jewish community of Baltimore. And it's like those 2 worlds colliding. I don't know anything about that. Some of the reviews I've read are like people being like, I grew up in Baltimore and I thought it was going to be an accurate representation of this, and it's not. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's not the type of I don't know. But It seems fine so far for me. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
And then finally, the last thing I watched this week, which I almost watched in a single sitting as well. Probably one of the best seasons of television I ever watched, and that is Silo. Marvin, thank you for recommending it.
Well, it's actually Dusty.
Yeah.
Originally, it was
another
Dusty.
show in the pipe. I told you guys, watch it.
Apple TV, bro. They don't fucking. They just make straight bangers. It's crazy, and it's sad.
Well, not straight bangers. There's some mediocre stuff, and
they're
actually having to come back because Apple TV is the streaming service nobody watches.
Mm-hmm.
All you Apple fucking phone using motherfuckers don't pay for the Apple TV and watch it, so they're like, we're gonna have to cut back now.
I understand, but that doesn't mean
we don't pay for anything. So
yeah, that doesn't mean that they're not going to produce content. You know what I mean? They just might. Oh, Jesus.
Anna froze.
They just might not make as much content as frequently as they once were, because they have a lot of output.
Yeah.
You got to fix this shit. This is crazy.
Slideshow.
I don't know. They had two, they have two shows running right now at the same time that both aired at the same time. So they probably won't do that. But if they scaled back to let's say what HBO used to do, maybe one show every year or so.
Well, everybody's scaling back right now, actually.
Well, because all these companies are wildly not profitable. You know what I mean? They are all in the red.
Yeah.
And they're also not honest about how much money they're losing. They all cook their books. We've talked about this before to just warrant investment and whatnot, probably. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I haven't.
Well,
watched...
Apple just did you see the 4 new iPhones that are coming out? So they'll make it back for that.
They're doing fine.
They're
doing fine in the hardware section. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's
crazy
buying the phones, but nobody's buying the service.
It's I don't remember all 4, but I know one of them is the regular iPhone, then the iPhone Pro, then the iPhone Pro Plus,
Pro Max,
and then there's that's the 4th one I think, the Pro Max. It's Jesus.
At this point, just make a phone that's fucking her. I'll buy that shit. But yeah, so Silo, man, what a fucking good show. What a creative concept.
So good.
It was unbelievable. And I was honestly hooked from the fucking first episode. I literally watched the first episode and I was like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm literally going to watch this whole thing. I already knew it. I didn't. I passed away about episode 7, but man, so good.
Wait, so you finished it?
I finished it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
What
do you think about that reveal at the end? There's hundreds of other silos.
Yeah, I had pretty much guessed that pretty early on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that difficult to figure out. I knew Tim Robbins.
Fallout, so it's you kind of think,
Spoilers. Yeah. I figured Tim Robbins was the bad guy. Obvious. It was pretty obvious. I knew that the fucking the lush world outside was a hologram. Because I noticed the bird pattern from the second time they show it. I was like, wait a second.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess that there was other silos out there, but that's even more so a good example of how compelling this and how good the writing is, because it's still compelling despite puzzling all that out early on. Mm-hmm. Why are they tricking people into going out and thinking that it's beautiful? I guess to get them to clean is probably the easiest answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming that the big metal door that George found is a tunnel connecting multiple silos.
For sure, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, it was super compelling, very well done, very creative. The acting was great, the writing was great. I have one slight fear about it, and I hope I'm wrong, but it reminds me a little bit of Lost. When Lost first came out back in the day, one of my buddies was really into it, and he kept trying to make me watch it, and I'd watched a few episodes, and I couldn't get into it, and I kept saying I'm not unique in this. I was one of many people being they're dead, and the writers of that show were, for the whole run of that show, however many seasons it had, they were that's not going to be it. It's not going to be a cheap cop out, we promise. And then that's exactly what it was. They were just dead at the end. And I always
Spoilers.
felt spoilers. Yeah, if you haven't watched Lost, like okay,
I haven't. Never will.
I never will either. But I had always so
I've
think
seen
of this.
episodes because it was on. You go to somebody's house and they're watching it, so I've seen some stuff, but I didn't ever sat down and watched it.
How many seasons was it? Lost was 6 seasons. Okay.
Oh wow, I was gonna say like 13 or 12.
So,
I thought maybe
for literally 6 seasons, these guys who wrote this show were like firmly being like, no.
There's like 40 episode seasons, right?
Yeah, it's like old school TV, something like that. And so like for 6 seasons, which let's just double it. You could triple it because now most TV shows are 8 to 10 episodes. And
oh God, yeah.
So like so
that's like X-Files.
Yeah,
Good
this show might as well have had like 15 seasons based on the episode count. And for that amount of time, these guys were being like, no, they're not dead. We promise.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
121 episodes. That's basically 10 seasons.
Yeah. So I had always felt, and turned out to be right, that show felt a little directionless to me. Like, I never felt as if the writers sat down and like knew where the show was headed, right? It always seemed like a kind of like, figuring it out as they go type of thing. And I always compared it to X-Files, because X-Files, I don't know if you've noticed this, Marvin, watching it as a new X-Files person, but X-Files to me always felt like it had a definitive ending. Like, this is where we're headed. Like, this is going to be the revelation. Everything else we'll fill in as we go. And personally, I don't know if that's the right or wrong way to write a story. That's how I would do it. That's how it makes sense in my head. Like, if I had a show concept, I would figure out like the definitive ending and where I want it to go. And just Lost never felt like that to me. Anyhow, long story short, that's what Lost was. It just felt like that was like their cheap cop out at the end. Like, they couldn't figure out anything better to do. Right. And they were just like, all right, well, they're dead. I could kind of see Silo turning out to be that. I hope it's not like that. Like, I could totally see Silo being like a really cool concept that they have. Like, hey, these are people mysteriously living in a silo and there's hundreds of them and da-da-da-da. But they don't necessarily have that like final like revelation or reveal, and that they're going to make it up as they go. I'm not saying that I feel that that's the case right now. I'm not saying that will be the case. I'm simply saying I could see
so
how that could be the thing.
One thing I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
And I don't think it is because it is based on a book series.
I was going to say, yes, that's the one saving grace.
And there's like 3 books already.
Yep, so 3 books, yep.
I think it could still end up like Game of Thrones where it gets destroyed.
Here's the question though, right? You live in the silo because shit got fucked up, and everybody's in silos. You walk outside and everything's wonderful and everything's back and everything's fruitful. Do you want all those people to come out of the silo and take all those fucking
resources,
good things that you have, those resources that are in abundance, and just dwindle them down so you have to go back in silos again in how many thousand years? Like, or do you say, oh yeah, it's fucking lethal out here, it's deadly, everybody stay in the silos is dangerous?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know anything, so I can't answer that question.
No.
We don't know what caused.
But he's asking you.
What would I do if I went outside and was? Well, I mean, who am I? Am I her who figured out that like that shit's fake?
Well, just anybody that walked outside.
Well, they die. They can't do anything.
Well, so you do think they're dead?
No, they are dead. That was confirmed.
Those guys are dead. It's the leak. It was like a leak. Bad tape.
They were using the bad.
So there's something wrong with the air.
Yeah. The whole concept is like that was awesome. Like that was like a Chekhov's. That was like a brilliant use of Chekhov's gun, which we've talked about before. That writing concept, the tape, and I knew it too. I was like, nah, they're not mentioning just some fucking tape for no reason. And so again, that was another thing. Like I figured out, I figured that out pretty early on. But again,
what about the mirrors? What about the cameras in the mirrors?
Yeah,
that was a shock to me.
No, because they showed like there was.
They showed it. Yeah,
there was one shot where it was like from the perspective of the flowers, so you knew it had something to do with like the flowers or that area.
The flowers. Put the flowers in front of the thing. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
But no, I thought the world building was great and very, very, very compelling. Like I'm interested. I want to know like the founders. Like clearly, it's like the world collapsed and they built these silos. Does Tim Robbins know about all, like, what is the limit of his knowledge? Clearly they are in silo 18 because his key had 18 on it. Like, so I want to know, there was one point where I thought like the reveal was going to be that they're like they're descendants of like the first humans to colonize another planet like Mars or something, and it's inhibited.
It turns out. Yeah.
But I can't quite figure out why, they are, like, why the government, let's just say the pseudo government of these silos, is hiding information about the past to these people. It's got to be more than just like, well, it's for their safety because we don't want them to go outside. Like, it's got to be more than that. And I haven't read anything about the books. I don't want to spoil it for myself. Season 2 starts in November, so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
I think my current running theory is that each silo kind of just is its own entity. Like, there's no overall like concerted effort to hide the truth. I think each silo like runs itself very independently. I wouldn't be surprised if season 2 we're introduced to like a new silo altogether, and there's like
that'd be cool.
And there's like a whole different set of rules and regulations, and like they almost have like their different like evolutionary path as silo 18.
Yeah. Well, we don't even know how many silos even made it.
Well,
no, I'm saying like they could have went to ruin and everyone killed each other or whatever.
So
disease, you know.
There's another show called The Ark. I don't remember where it aired. I watched, I think, the first season, part of this second season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm phrasing again. But it's about a similar thing. These people go out in space on this ark, and they discover that they're not the only ark, that there were several arks that went out, and they have some trouble, and they run into other arks. And everybody's greedy for resources because you're in space, and things are getting dire. So you have that drama going on.
It might not help, but why don't you try not watching the screen share? Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, Silo, the way the hierarchy worked reminded me a lot of The Expanse. How like the down deep people were like the fucking belters, and you know what I mean, the working class and all that. So I thought that was cool too. It was just it was just, I mean, obviously it's based off of a book, but like I would imagine it's a good representation of the book. I would hope. But those are my two working theories right now. Is that like each silo is like very different.
It doesn't help.
Didn't help. No. I think each silo is very different from one another, and I also think that like what these silos were probably intended to be was like a way to recolonize the earth, because that's why like that would have to be like why the founders passed down like, you know, the rules about birthing, right? Like they have like regulations around like.
Well, you haven't seen The 100 either, have you?
No.
Either of you watched The 100? That's about they send everybody away, and they send 100 people away because they know the Earth's dying, and they live in a space station until the Earth is livable again, and then they come back.
Nice. So that's what I've been watching. Silo's a real standout. I can't wait for season 2. Shit was so good.
Have you started The Foundation yet?
No, on my list. I will.
Isaac Asimov. That's a great one. It's a little bit like it's difficult to follow, but it's you have to pay attention to it. But if you can get into it, it's great. It's like
gotta put that on my list.
It's a good one. Yep.
But yeah, so I'm still grinding out those shows. Man, the Silo is like, it was so fucking good. It's like
Silo was awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
I still think my favorite still has been Severance, just because it was just
Severance is great too. Yeah. Listen, honestly, I'm dead serious when I say it.
That's one that I have not watched yet. Good. It's on my list, but I have not got to it yet.
I haven't watched them all, but I have not watched a bad thing on Apple TV. Like, and I've watched a lot of their stuff. I haven't seen.
Watch Dark Matter. Don't forget Dark Matter.
No, it's on my list. Listen,
I started that. It's good, but I haven't finished it.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
But yeah, so episode 100, we decided.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something, you know, not like super special, but you know, something different. a little bit different. Each year, we, you know, at the end of the year, we talk about our favorite movies of the year. Naturally, a lot of people do that. But for the 100th episode, we thought it would be fun to make a list of each of our top 3 worst movies that we think we've watched in the 100 episodes that we've done. Dusty came up with that idea, and it was a very fun one. So that's what we're doing.
Shout out.
So for the 100th episode, we each put together a list of 3 of the movies that we've disliked the most. So let's start with Dusty. Go ahead, Dusty. This was your idea. Hit us.
Sure. After looking through it, there was a couple that I kind of left off. I actually there was one 6.4. I forget what it was. Oh no. Okay, so the honorable mention would be Luther, the Fallen Angel.
Oh, I forgot about
That's a 6.4 on IMDb. It was not bad, but it was not good. It was one of those that didn't need to be made. It's like, why did you do this as a cash grab?
Not even
so that
close.
One did not make the list.
Not even close to the show, by the way.
Yeah, not even
like in the same neighborhood as the show. It's in a different
when
zip
I scrolled
code.
past that one, I was like, yeah, didn't like it.
It's not even on the same planet.
I almost put it in the list.
It's in a different galaxy than the show. Like, it's far out.
But I will only say that is the same IMDb rating as the movie we're going to review today. And so I also contemplated that. But my 3 movies are The Hole in the Ground, Lee Cronin. It's a 5.6 on IMDb right now.
Okay.
I did not like that movie. I thought it was stupid.
It was, yeah.
I don't remember even what I rated it.
Wait. I'm sorry.
It was bad.
Luther was your number 3, like the worst or the best?
No. Luther was the honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make the list.
Okay.
Luther was honorable mention.
Okay, so this is
Hole in the Ground.
Is number 3?
The Hole in the Ground is 5.6. Yeah, it was a bad one. Yeah,
is the worst or the best?
I don't know if I rated them best or worst. I just picked the 3 that I didn't like.
Gotcha. Okay.
Actually,
that's what I
4.
did.
Okay, that's fair.
But Cocaine Bear, Elizabeth Banks. I don't know if this was her directorial debut or not. It's a 5.9 on IMDb.
Yeah,
it was a fun movie, but it was a stupid movie. You know, it's like so bad. Great. It was kind of funny sometimes. But then my 3rd movie, I can't pick because they're both from fucking Cronenberg. I don't know if it was Infinity Pool or Crimes Against the Future because both of those movies fucking suck too.
Yep.
So those are my I did not like these movies. I wish we'd never watched them and reviewed them. And I don't recommend that you watch them. So what do you guys got?
All right, Marvin.
I'll just start with the same. Luther, the Fallen Son was hot as.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to also say for the audience, I should have mentioned this first. We explicitly decided to leave out the Make Marvin Watch episodes because those are all just good movies that we want Marvin to watch.
Yeah, those are bangers. Yeah. You can't.
So that's. I love those. So go ahead, Marvin. I'm sorry. So you also put.
Luther, the Fallen Son was hot ass garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I said.
Bad.
It was nothing like Luther that we all came to know and love.
No.
It was a waste of everything.
Yeah.
God, it was bad. My next one was also Crimes of the Future.
Yep.
That was one of the first movies we did.
Cronenberg struggling.
Yeah. Had a good premise, but it just kind of fell through and made me hate the Cronenbergs.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest.
I think we all picked the same movies.
My last one is actually Scream 6.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
just please
was like,
never.
Man.
Yes. Just please never make another Scream movie. We've had enough. We don't need any more.
Yeah. No, but they are, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they are.
I have the same list as Marvin. So.
Really?
Yeah. So. Scream 17 or whatever number it was,
yes,
it's got to be. I think honestly, that's the worst movie we've watched. Hands down,
bad.
Hands down.
I scrolled past it, but I was like, it's not as bad as Hole in the Ground.
It's bad. No, because at least Hole in the Ground was
bad.
Hole in the Ground was moody and atmospheric and creepy.
And the kid
at times.
was good.
The kid was good. There is enough stuff in Hole in the Ground, especially being his directorial debut, to kind of make that movie I get what I agree with you about it, but it's not. I don't think it has aspects to it that make it redeemable.
I can respect that opinion. Yeah,
Scream is irredeemable. Sure. Scream has nothing of value to it whatsoever. It has literal zero
The
creativity.
cousin, the other cousin, twice removed. Oh shit, that's his brother. Oh god, dang.
Fuck, that's that guy from that other one. Like it has zero.
Oh shit, they got a shrine. Oh shit.
Zero creativity. It had no purpose for existing other than some fucking dude in a tie being like, "Hey, let's make another one." And like you said, they're gonna make more, and they're just gonna get worse and worse and worse. So
so bad.
That is, I think, hands down the worst movie we've watched for sure. My other two, Crimes of the Future, is just kind of sad, really, because it's a director who is just like, he's just trying to live through his glory days. Like David Cronenberg, I've made fun of him quite a bit now on the show.
It's 0.2 lower than Infinity Pool. Like those two movies are the same for me. That's why I had to double up for him.
Yeah, it's fair. If you and I did the same thing because it's that Cronenberg family trait, it seems.
Yes, it is.
And if you look through David Cronenberg's catalog,
because Infinity is Brandon.
I'm sorry, I just did the fucking the fucking politician freeze up. Mitch McConnell, the fucking dead stare.
Oh yeah, he turtled.
Yeah, like
Moscow Mitch.
Other than The Fly and like Videodrome, I would say. I'm sure people like some of his movies, but like those are the only two that I think are like straight up like, those are good.
Naked Lunch. Do people like that one?
I don't know. I've never even heard of it. But this guy, man, he's.
I mean, I probably would have put Danny McBride up there if we would. We didn't actually review the fucking Michael Myers movies.
Oh, we did.
Right?
We did.
We did.
Was that on there?
Yeah.
Halloween Ends.
We did Halloween Ends and we did Halloween Kills, I think. Oh no, we just watched Kills together.
No, we watched it together and talked about it. I forgot that we did one. I might actually put that one up.
So as I said, I put the two Cronenbergs together. The other one is, of course, Brandon Cronenberg's movie Infinity Pool, which was one of the most pretentious piece of shit nothing movies I've ever watched in my life. Just that one scene that I will never forget about it, where he just gets jerked off and like you see the jizz hit the ground like close up, like
watch this splash the rock close up macro fucking
served
shot.
No purpose, was not artistic.
Cares?
It was just nothing. It was just this guy being like, I'm an artist. Look at my art right now. So those movies sucked balls. My third was in fact I was gonna put Halloween on there, but that's like so like default bad. I wanted to actually throw a curveball at you guys, and this is something that's going to surprise you, but I've given it a lot of thought, and I think the third worst movie that I think we've watched is Evil Dead Rise.
What? No,
I looked at that one. I was like, it was a disappointing movie, but it was not as bad as some of the shit we've watched.
It's not. But let me explain. When we watched it, I liked it. We were all pretty favorable about it.
So you like Saltburn better?
Oh, Saltburn.
No, because this is from this is from like a personal. This comes from a personal opinion place, right? It's not about which movie's like better or worse. I thought Saltburn was terrible. You know that. but we've watched a lot of stinkers. Like we have. This is a hard list.
We have watched.
But the reason that I put Evil Dead Rise on there is because
John Carpenter got out of the business. Everybody's making shit horror movies.
The reason why I put Evil Dead Rise on the list is because we were hyped about it going in. And I think the hype was because it had the Evil Dead name, right? But it is not really in any way, shape, or form other than, I don't even know if it mentioned Deadites. I think it just had the Necronomicon, not even by name. It just had the book or a version of the Necronomicon. It is not an Evil Dead movie, okay? And it only was after we watched it that I thought this, and I changed my mind about the rating. I don't even remember what I rated it at the time. We might have to go back and check just to double check. I didn't have time to check what we rated everything. And I don't think the movie is bad, to be clear. It's an okay, like, run-of-the-mill horror movie. It had moments that were creepy. I thought the acting was great. The mom was, like, super creepy. I love that stuff. But it's not an Evil Dead movie, okay? And I didn't realize until... Because I had watched Ash vs. the Evil Dead after this. And Ash vs. Evil Dead, aside from Ash being in it, just really truly captures what makes Evil Dead good and what makes Army of Darkness good. This movie is not that. It's something else entirely. So
did we review Rebel Moon?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so we watched a lot.
I mean, that just takes the crown. That's not even on the list. That's beyond the list.
That's beyond the list. We watched a lot of stinkers. But for that reason, again, I'm not saying Evil Dead is the worst movie we've ever watched. I just wanted to throw it on there because my mind has changed on it. And I actually am way less favorable on it than I was when we watched it originally. But it's because all these, like, what is it, a year or two after the fact, it's just not an Evil Dead movie. And I'm offended that they gave it the name. Is really what it is.
I'm surprised you didn't put Anyone But You up there.
I forgot about that movie, bro.
That was also,
Some movies are so bad that my brain just like wipes them out. Like I forget they existed. Anyone But You is fucking terrible, and anybody that likes that movie is a fucking brain dead fucking idiot. No offense.
Wow.
Like it's just not funny at all. If you are laughing at anything in that movie, like you've got problems. Like
I was laughing at some of the
stuff. You could be laughing at it,
and I was annoyed at you guys. You guys pissed me off that episode. I was like actually mad. I was like, how could you possibly find this shit funny?
Oh my god.
No, that was bad. Halloween Ends was terrible. Rebel Moon really obviously takes the cake. But honestly and truly, I think Scream was like the worst one we've watched because it's literally a nothing movie. There is not an ounce of creativity in that.
Right.
At all.
I could say that about Halloween Ends.
Yeah, and at least Halloween Ends like tried to be something different than all the sequels of Halloween that came before it. I'll give it a little credit for that. I'll give it a little credit for like, that's basically it. Really. But yeah, that's our list, folks.
You have some bias towards the character.
Of course.
Great list.
Yeah, that's our list.
I figured we would all have
yeah.
We were all pretty close though.
I figured we would all have Luther just because
I didn't honestly remember Luther.
Bad.
Like that's the thing. A lot of these shit movies we watch, I totally forget about.
I know what I really remember, that wig. The wig he had on, that one.
Oh, the wig. I forgot about
fucking
that.
Huge ass fucking wig. This fucking big.
That was so fucking funny.
Yeah, it was comical.
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought about putting A Quiet Place Day 1 on that list, to be fair. But
that's what I said. Like, again, that's what I was hinting at. Like, the movie, the Luther's a 6.4. A Quiet Place Day 1 is a 6.4.
Yeah.
I considered them both.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But that's our list, folks. 100 episodes in, we've watched some fucking stinkers. We have watched a lot of bangers, to be fair. Mostly bangers. Like,
mostly bangers.
Like, we've watched mostly good movies. So,
100%.
You know, there's some bad ones on
we're
there.
9 subs away from 700, it looks like.
Yeah.
I was just checking.
Hey, if you're not subbed yet, consider clicking the sub button. It's free, and it helps us out.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of stuff that we've watched and a lot of stuff we're going to watch hopefully in the future.
We got we still have a lot of good movies to make Marvin watch.
That's right.
This is the funny thing about this is episode 100 and we're talking about movies we hate, but this is not a make Marvin watch. This is a Marvin made us fucking watch because this wasn't even on the schedule.
Well, wait, you got to get into the news first. We'll get to it.
That's the one we're watching.
Yeah.
So this is a make Dan and Dusty watch.
I need to make we're gonna need a full explanation from you, Marvin. Like you're not getting off the hook about this one. I need, but we'll get to it. I
explained it in full.
I know, but I don't remember. We'll get to it. Really, what this podcast is, I said earlier in the intro, I don't like to shit on things that people create. I'm a creator. I am a graphic designer, and I know art is subjective. I know that's like corny and a cop out, but it is. And
very
I think there is a level of pretension in reviewing anything. Like we talked about this when we watched The Menu with Nick, like food reviewers, movie reviewers, show review. Anything that slaps critic onto a thing is fucking stupid in my opinion. Because what Marvin might like, I won't, and vice versa. It's different for everybody. And what we so when we made this podcast,
don't yuck other people's yums.
Yeah. So when we made this podcast, we set out to make Marvin watch stuff that he hasn't seen, and also I specifically in my head, and I think I communicated to you guys that I didn't want to be like a fucking review channel, like a movie comes out in theaters, like, this is the channel you got to come to. There's plenty of those out there. We're not competing with them. And we just wanted to be a group of friends that like talk about movies and shows together that we're watching.
We're not the Easter egg breakdown channel, and we're not the, oh my God, we talk about cinematography and act. Like, we break some of that stuff down, but we don't delve into it like a critic would.
No, it's just
because we're not critics, because we're not trained to be critics, because you have to be
an asshole,
an educated theater pretentious fuck to be a critic, apparently.
We
like the old comedy with John Lovitz. Love it.
We talk about stuff as fans. And when we give ratings at the end of a review, it's just a joke, because ratings are stupid and don't matter, and we understand that. That's why we do it. What was the last thing I want to say? Really, what this podcast is like a celebration of like the good stuff that movies are, and movies and shows are my favorite form of media. Probably more than even video games. I love video games, but movies and shows, and I like it more than reading, because I don't know. There's like this thing about me, like, reading is great. I don't read as much as I used to. And the thing about reading is that, like, when you're reading a book, you're interpreting the writer's vision. So, like, for instance, Stephen King, he had a vision of Pennywise the Clown in his head when he wrote that book, and he could put it on paper as best as he can describe it. But every single person who reads it is going to have a different conjuring of what he looks like.
George R.R. Martin talked about this, but as far as like Game of Thrones, he's like, I've been given several artist illustrations, seen movies, seen television shows, and I've never seen like the proper Game of Thrones, like the Throne of Swords. He's like, he said somebody got close one time. It was like an artist rendering, but it was so big that it wouldn't have been able to be done on a set like HBO. They had to do every fucking week. So he was like, I've been shown so many fucking images of the sword of the fucking the Throne of Melted Swords or whatever, but only one or two people got close. Yeah. And it still wasn't even right, is what he said.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to movies and shows, like for me, and it's always why I was like drawn to comic books too as a kid, is because like you're getting to see the vision that the artist has intended for you. And that always spoke to me more than like reading, like the visual nature of it. Like, hey, this is what I want you to see. I really like that. So yeah, this is a celebration of movies and shows, and we don't want to shit on anything, and hopefully that comes through. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. We're close to 700. Help us hit that goal of 1,000. And leave a comment. Suggest movies for us to watch. We actually did get a comment about somebody asking if we reviewed Stranger Things, and I couldn't remember if we did. I think we talked about the last season, but I don't think we did like a straight up review of the season. I couldn't remember. I know it's not on YouTube, but I was too lazy to go back into Spotify.
We talked about it.
It was early on in the podcast.
Because I remember...
We did talk about it. We talked about it.
It was already a couple seasons in. And then we got into the strikes, and we got into the COVID era, so everything slowed down. So
we specifically reviewed the previous season, I think. We didn't do a whole show.
Yeah, because the video got taken down, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Remember there was a copyright strike on our Stranger Things video.
I do not remember that, but that's interesting.
And we just decided to remove it. I'm pretty sure because...
Okay.
That old trick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the news. Dusty. Dusty is a former newsman.
Okay. We don't have a whole lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Muckrake. Go. What you got for us?
Okay. We got a couple pieces, a little bit of news here. Fubo TV filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Disney Fox WB sports package venue that they were trying to release. They were expected to launch that at the start of the NFL season, I believe. But the judge granted a temporary injunction, pausing any efforts at a timely launch. The U.S. Judge Margaret Garrett noted that the three companies control about 54% of all U.S. sports rights and at least 60% of all nationally broadcast U.S. sports rights. So there is significant evidence in the record that the true figure may even be larger, is what the judge is saying. So Fubo is like, hey, we're going to lose every single one of our customers if these three companies get to like just team up and fuck us and make a sports package because they own so much sports. It's not even fair.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, that sounds like a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
So the injunction was granted, and we'll see what happens. So it looks like we will not get the venue sports launch that they were promising us to watch all your sports in one place. Because Fubo said, please, no, fuck you.
I guess that's why the stock was going crazy, the Fubo stock.
Yeah. And speaking of shit going crazy, like Paramount, Sherry Redstone still hasn't been able to sell the company. They were trying to do some shit with Skydance. I don't think any of that went through. I've not kept up on it, but they did announce recently that they're cutting 15% of their U.S. workforce, which is about 2,000 jobs, and they're actually closing Paramount Television Studios. Paramount was one of the companies that lagged behind in getting into streaming. The streaming, everybody... We had that whole thing where everybody's trying to get into streaming and everybody spent too much on streaming.
Yeah.
And then everybody lost money on streaming, and then COVID and the strike happened and everybody lost even more money. So it's just been crazy. And Paramount was like, we're just going to ride the wave until we can't anymore. Now they're fucked. So they're cutting just like everybody else is. I think Skydance or Axios cut 10%. Disney cut like 2%. All these companies are cutting right now. They can't keep up. They're trying to retool themselves into the streaming world. But even the consumers don't know really what they want to do with that stuff, because streaming stuff costs as much as cable now. So
yeah.
Speaking of canceling, something you guys posted that I didn't even see, but the Acolyte season 2 was not renewed by Lucasfilm.
Yep.
Obviously the Rotten Tomatoes, the critics loved it, 78%, and the fans hated it. And that's usually when stuff doesn't get renewed. Well, sometimes stuff does get renewed
apparently it was the
critics love it.
The drop off of viewership they reported was like precipitous. Like I think the finale had the lowest watch rate of any live action Star Wars show yet. So, it
was a terrible show.
It was not great.
I'm glad I didn't finish it.
Well,
Christina's still upset at me that I didn't finish X-Men 97, but
that's
I'm glad I didn't finish it either. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like X-Men 97?
I didn't like what they did to Gambit. I know what they're doing to Gambit, but I didn't like what they did to him in the interim. So, I'm upset with them.
I see.
Yeah. Bo DeMaio is also on my...
Oh, yeah. Well, he got kicked out, and they just released...
Yeah.
Is that in your news?
I don't actually have any Bo DeMaio news. So
we might as well just talk about it quickly, because he was the showrunner of the first season of X-Men 97, which was very well received. And then he mysteriously...
And he already wrote the second season and was starting on the third, so they had all that
He mysteriously got shit canned, and he's on Twitter talking all sorts of shit. And he wasn't invited to the Emmys or anything like that. And everybody was like, what the fuck happened? And
the rumors were it was about DMs with potentially underage people.
Well, the rumors was that he was bad to work for because he had already been booted from his previous show that he was working on, which I forget what it was. What was the other show?
You don't just drop a guy because he's bad to work for. You
No,
say he's bad to work for and you drop him. There's something like we're breaking all ties with the guy. He's no longer like there was
The Witcher.
Something fucking weird.
He was the writer on The Witcher, and it was reported that he was just like really like abusive to work for or whatever. So that was kind of the rumor. But now Disney basically flat out was just like, yeah, no, he was like.
Well, who's the guy that did Firefly?
I don't know, but he was like apparently like
Marvel guy
chatting up like young people on this. I don't know what he was doing, but some fucking inappropriate bullshit.
Yeah, no, he had some TikTok profile or OnlyFans profile.
He has an OnlyFans
where he posted.
Yeah.
It wasn't full nude. I think it was partially, I don't know. It was risque.
But he was targeting like younger employees.
But he was also messaging potentially risque people as far as age-wise goes. So that's the rumor of what happened. But anyway.
Yep.
So
what else you got for us?
Let's get into crazy. Speaking of crazy people, Nicolas Cage.
This is pretty interesting to me. What do you think about this? You're a football guy.
I actually saw this news. Yeah. Okay. So I actually love this cast. I have not watched. The only Nick Cage movie I haven't watched is the Dream one, where everybody dreams about him. That's the one I want to see. I haven't watched it yet. I've seen all his other stuff in the last year. He's done like 6 or 7 movies in the last year, but
he's pumping.
He's going to be playing the big guy, John Madden, in David O. Russell's biodrama, simply titled Madden. Now, David O. Russell has got some bangers in his belt.
Sure does.
He's done some good stuff. He's got some 2, 7, 8s.
This is like his shtick now, though.
Maybe, but I don't really mind it. Like if you're in a groove and you're really in that groove and you're hitting,
not really,
you're hitting him out of the park.
I confused him with with the
but
other
if you're
guy.
hitting out of the park, with what other guy?
The guy who made The Big Short.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no. He's done some actual movies that are pretty good.
Adam McKay's shtick now is to do like these like weird biopics or whatever. No, David O. Russell has made some good movies. We talked about one of his movies, his last one, Amsterdam, and I don't think any of us were really like super favorable on it. But yeah, no, he's a good filmmaker.
It was a bit of a weird one, but he's got some good movies that are highly reviewed, and I like some of his movies.
Me too.
I'm a big fan of John Madden. You know, he was an Oakland Raider. He coached the Raiders, and then he casted games, was an analyst and caster, and was Madden. Billions of people played his games, and I think Nick Cage is actually the perfect casting. This is like the RDJ Tony Stark. I think Nick nails John Madden, because John Madden is a
fiery guy,
boisterous character, like a big dude, likes to joke, likes to jab.
Yeah.
And I think Nick Cage is going to nail it after seeing some of the stuff he's done recently. So I'm looking forward to that one.
What surprised me is that the central theme of this movie is about him making the Madden video game series. Like,
yeah.
So, little description from IMDb is: after being forced into retirement by the Oakland Raiders, fiery former NFL head coach John Madden teams up with a mild-mannered Harvard programmer to rewrite his fading legacy by building the world's first football video game.
EA Sports is in the game.
And one of the rumored
Iconic.
castings is also Will Ferrell, also playing John Madden. So I don't know.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I don't know what's going on there, but
that would actually be awesome. Yeah, well, they're gonna move around because I think they're gonna show like young John Madden as a football player,
probably
John Madden as a coach,
I'd imagine.
then John Madden as an announcer / football game guy.
I'd imagine.
Excuse me.
So what else we got?
Next up on the list, I did not read all of this because this felt spoilerish, but Diego Luna says Rogue One will hit viewers differently after they watch Andor Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
He did a full interview with Entertainment Weekly, and I did not, because they went into the details of how it's going to hit differently, I did not want to spoil any of it, so I did not read it. So, but if you want to go read what Diego Luna says about Andor Season 2 and how it will affect Rogue One and when you rewatch it after you finish Season 2, go ahead. But I didn't want to ruin it. I just think that was interesting news because...
speaking of...
we regard Rogue One as one of the best Star Wars movies we've seen in 30 years.
I think it's the best Star Wars thing that there is. I just think it is. Andor is objectively, in my opinion, the best.
Better, I think.
I mean, nostalgia-wise, sure, but like just from an objective filmmaking standpoint, doesn't get better than Andor. Rogue One is fantastic. Anyhow, good. Not a segue, but I don't know if you were going to report on Alien Romulus and its opening.
No, I didn't. I'm going to go watch it tomorrow in the matinee, so we can talk about it. So go ahead.
Well, just to say, Alien Romulus is doing very well. Made $41.5 million in the opening weekend,
Yep.
108 million globally. Speaking of Letterboxd and those shitty fucking people who use it, as I was talking about earlier, they are using Rogue One as a comparison to Romulus, where they're calling both films essentially fan fiction of their respective franchises. And I'm just like, who are you fucking people? You're a nobody on Twitter. Shut the fuck up.
Alien Prometheus should be a fan fiction film.
There's also a whole host of people who are coming out of the woodwork defending that movie, Prometheus and fucking Alien, whatever the fuck the second one was called.
Speaking of box office, we haven't talked about it in a while. Inside Out and Deadpool and Wolverine now. The only $2 billion movies of 2024. Inside Out 2 has hit $1.6 billion.
That's
Deadpool
insane.
and Wolverine is at 1.1.
I need to watch Inside Out and 2.
I predicted Dune 2 to be $1 billion movie. It fell short about 300,000, but nothing's even close right now. There's only $2 billion movies this year, and I don't even remember. Let's go to 2023 real quick.
Well, Deadpool's the highest rated.
Was 2023?
There was only $2 billion movies in 2023, and that was Barbie and Super Mario Brothers, and we reviewed them both.
Mario.
So.
Yeah.
I think Deadpool is the most profitable R-rated film of all time now, officially.
So does that mean we have to review Inside Out 2 now?
Maybe.
Because we reviewed the $2 billion movies last year. We got to do this year, right?
Hey, we could if you want. I mean, I wanted to see Barbie like legitimately.
Well, it's going to be Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine because we already did Barbie.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying.
Well, you guys already talked about Deadpool.
We did talk about Deadpool.
Yeah, we kind of did. Yeah, but I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going to. I don't know. 10 o'clock is the IMAX. 11 o'clock is standard. It depends on what time I wake up. But I'm gonna go watch Alien Romulus tomorrow for $5. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I heard that IMAX. Really that's dope.
I have another piece of news.
Okay.
A movie that we made Marvin watch not too long ago is getting a TV adaptation, and that is Poltergeist.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And the showrunners, Kalinda Vasquez, and she's on Fear the Walking Dead, and Robbie Thompson, who does Supernatural. Yeah, so I don't know. It's based on Poltergeist in development. I don't think there's really much more information about it than that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
And also in horror TV news, Marvin posted earlier, fucking Friday the 13th series is back, which...
Oh, yeah. A24.
Prequel.
Wait, why? Why is it a prequel?
Prequel.
Enough of prequels.
We need it.
We don't.
Need it.
What is the series... Like, Jason can't be in a prequel unless he's a kid. So, like, what's the fucking point?
You can only... Well, it's easier. It's harder to take a character who has been through, a 3-decade arc and say, this is where we want to go now. You could be like, how did he get there?
Well, there's the licensing issues.
We can make that shit up, and it sounds fine.
There's the licensing issues.
Sure.
So what's a prequel going to be? We're going to watch 8 episodes of a camp counselor, bunch of camp counselors
abusing him as a son. No, there's no
his mom didn't abuse him. It's going to be camp counselors that are fucking not doing their job properly, and he drowns in the last episode.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the point of it.
I don't know. Maybe see him getting bullied.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is that, it's obviously there's a lot of the fucking contractual shit and the rights is all tied up, but it's like, just don't do the thing. Like, it's whatever. What else you got for us, Dusty?
Well, I got 2 more pieces of news here.
Okay.
The next one is going to be, if you're an Easter egg hunter in movies, you might like this. The Nightmare Before Christmas director, Henry Selick. I don't know if you guys saw this. He says Jack Skellington is hidden in every single one of his movies.
Interesting.
He also said, I can't legally say that's true, but it might be true.
I couldn't name another one of his movies.
He did. I couldn't either.
Oh, Coraline.
He did an interview with Games Radar Plus interview, and he was talking about all the movies he's done. He's like, hey, I'm a big fan of Jack. I hate him in my movies. So if you want to go watch his other movies and see if you can find Jack Skellington in his movies,
James and Giant Peach
out there that might.
Yeah.
You might find you'll see Jack in there if you look hard enough. He's in there.
You
can't say
I
that
love
legally,
James and
course,
Giant Peach. I just gotta say that it's one of my favorite movies.
It's a great movie. After I still haven't watched Paddington 2 after the massive weight of what's the Nick Cage movie? Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yep.
He was like Paddington 2.
Coraline was really good. If you guys haven't seen that, that was written by Neil Gaiman.
Coraline was really good.
I saw
that's a great
fun fact. I saw Coraline the year it came out, 2009. I remember. I was in 10th grade.
Nice.
Yep.
I probably saw it the year it came out as well.
Registered for the draft.
All right, what else you got?
Well, the last piece of news I have is from Mr. Matt Shackman talking about Fantastic Four.
Oh, shit.
I forget who was this interview with. Did I put it down? I don't think I did. Sorry about that. I usually got that stuff down.
It don't matter.
This is the quote from him. He says, I'm not so much looking, this is why I love Matt Shackman. I'm not so much looking at other movies because this was the question is like, what do you think about the 2000 movies or the prequel, the other Fantastic Four movies? So he says, I'm not so much looking at the other movies. I'm looking at the comics themselves. I'm a huge comic book fan. I've been a big fan of the Fantastic Four since I was a kid.
Yep.
So going back to Kirby and Lee and Byrne and falling all the way up to what's happening, certainly with Hickman and Wade and Ryan North, what he's been doing. I'm trying to figure out who these characters are going to me and how to bring them to life in the best possible way. And that's really where I've started how we've approached it. So this guy's a fan. And I'm a fan. I'm actually more excited about the Fantastic Four. Obviously, Joseph Quinn, he was Eddie Munson in Stranger Things, which we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
He is cast as Johnny Storm in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. And he's also the co-star of the movie we're here to talk about. So unless you guys have any other news, we can switch gears and go into...
Classic Dusty segue. Yeah. I do want to just say briefly, don't get too excited about this movie because I love Matt Shackman.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I love Matt Shackman. I was familiar with his work because he has directed.
Yeah, he's made some good stuff.
He has directed many, many episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which, as you guys know, is one of my favorite shows. It's a vastly different thing, but I was excited when I found out that he was going to do WandaVision. He's directed some episodes of Game of Thrones. Like, he's been around the block.
Okay. So I was just looking at Google and it was like, I'm seeing none of this, but
he's done an episode.
IMDb has the real scoop.
Oh, he's done 2 episodes of Monarch. Like, he's been around the block.
Yeah.
He's done a lot.
That makes me feel better now.
Yeah,
because
totally.
before it was like Meet the Hollowheads, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna be good. But he didn't even direct that. I don't even know why Google shows him on that. So.
I just don't know if I don't know if Fantastic Four is going to be it. And there's a couple of things that lead me to feel this way. One of which is that, obviously Marvel has had a bad output recently.
They're retooling.
Yeah, that's part of it. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of the casting of Reed Richards being Pedro Pascal. I thought that was thought that was a cheap, easy.
I don't know how I feel about any of the cast. Actually, I'm just waiting to see.
It's not about them. It's just about the fact that like clearly Pedro was like the easy guy to get. He's hot right now. Bring him in. Fine, but I will just say this: while I like Matt Shackman and I think he's capable, the sign of a bad movie is when somebody says, "I am a huge fan of that thing."
Huge fan.
The Witcher showrunners were huge fans of The Witcher.
No,
every time.
No.
Nah, they weren't real true fans.
That is not true. That is not true. The writers were not fans of The Witcher. That's where it went wrong.
But they said they were.
It's like saying, okay, wait, now, Kevin Smith, I'm a huge fan of this movie, and I want to do it justice.
Kevin Smith lied and said he was a huge fan of fucking He-Man and fucking ruined it according to He-Man fans. And you could go back into history live on tape of him saying he's never read He-Man in his life. So I love Kevin Smith, but got to call it out when you got to call it out. People who say they're fans of shit.
Well, sure, if you're going to lie, no, but there's a difference. Okay, yeah, but there's a difference. Okay, so now we got fair weather fans, we got hardcore fans, and you know what that's about. Because we've talked about this several times and how you're like, yeah, I get comic purists are upset about what they're doing in the Marvel, but that's just an adaptation. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but you're a purist about The Witcher and that's just an adaptation. And you're like, yeah, but it's a shit adaptation. And I'm like, yeah, it's a shit adaptation. Like we can go back and forth on this all the time. Fair. It's how much you love the character and how much you love the story and how much that person fucking egregiously fucking.
Generally, where I draw the line is when there's just like a complete bastardization of the character, which The Witcher has, Henry Cavill's Superman has. I don't know that I don't know that, cause I am familiar with Marvel Comics. I don't know that there's been any like massive character assassinations in the MCU, with the exception, and I'll give Ed a shout out here. Shout out to Ed. With the exception of like Hulk and Thor, like both of which are very neutered from the comic books. Hulk, for obvious reasons, he had to be used as a support role rather than a star because of the rights.
They didn't have the IP.
I understand.
Yes.
And Thor is just, I think, the MCU has always had a problem with how they handle their like really powerful heroes. Thor got very neutered, and then of course became just like a fucking dopey comedic relief role by the last movie. Captain Marvel was, she's basically the Superman of the MCU, and she was used just as like a plot device to like basically take down Thanos' ships for like 2 seconds.
Right, I remember that, yep.
So they've had a problem with writing their powerful heroes when they should really just embrace them. I'm interested to see how James Gunn's going to handle Superman's power, because that's a huge criticism of Superman, is that he's fucking too OP. But, you know, that's one thing I'm hopeful for because of that quote where he says, I set out to make a movie about a good man in a world that's not always so much. Because that's the we've talked about this 1,000 times. That's Superman's power, not the fact that he's fucking powerful.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not saying Fantastic Four is going to be bad. I'm just saying approach it with caution. I also don't know why in the trailer.
No, I'm just saying I have a little more elevated
of course, yeah, for sure.
aspirations about how it could be, because
totally.
Matt Shakman said he's been reading the comics, and if he says he's been reading the comics since he's a kid,
no, that's a good thing.
I'm going to believe that.
Yeah.
And if he's lying and it's a shit movie, I will fucking tear him apart on the
We've
internet.
seen multiple things from Marvel now where the writers and directors are like, I did not watch that thing. In fact, the executives didn't want us to watch it. Moon Knight did it. What else was it? There's a couple where they were just like, yeah, no, we didn't even read the source material. It's like, well, why are you making the thing then? I don't know.
Correct.
The Thor Love and Thunder.
It's like Leslie Headland. I didn't want to make Star Wars. I wanted to make my own movie in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
That's why The Acolyte only made it one season.
Wow.
That's not what people want to watch.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic for Fantastic Four. I like the tone of it, the look of it. I think is on par. I like that they're going with the early like stuff, but yeah. So let's get into today's review, folks. Marvin fucked us this week. No, I'm kidding. There's a little bit of
makes us watch.
We have a calendar where we list the movies we're going to watch, and we had everything was pushed up a week because one episode got canceled or something. We rescheduled, but we were originally going to watch a different movie, and then we had 3 listed for the following week, and we didn't know what we were going to watch. And somehow, Marvin, you got to explain, how did you? Because I accidentally watched A Quiet Place. I want to know.
I watched it.
But how did you accidentally?
But I accidentally assumed that just had to be the one.
So you didn't look at the calendar and realize that
until after.
Then we listed 3.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's simply what it is. Okay, never mind. I thought I was like, wait, we had.
So I told you I watched the trailer for the one we were supposed to watch, and I was like, okay, this can't be it because this sucks.
It was not good. That is a movie not made for us. I'm not even gonna mention it because I don't feel like dealing with it.
I was like, this trailer sucks.
Did you watch the other movie, Dan?
I did. Yeah. Did you?
You didn't. I did not. No.
It's bad. It's not.
Okay.
It is not a movie made for men. And adult men, like not. I don't mean men. I mean like adult human beings. I don't know why I said men. It's not a movie made for us. It's just not.
Adult humans.
It's not. It's not.
So I'm glad I had a brain fart.
And the trailer's misleading, by the way, because it's not a horror movie.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this isn't horror. Yeah. Even from the trailer, I was like, this isn't horror.
It's just a bizarre movie that's not made for us. That's all I'll say. But yeah, so Marvin watched A Quiet Place in 4-star hand. So here we are to talk about A Quiet Place Day 1, which is the 3rd installment. And
now, before we get started,
have
either of you
I'll get there.
watched both of the prequels?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Listen.
No, okay. Well, I didn't watch either of them, so
really.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this is gonna be an interesting conversation. Listen, I'm gonna be straight up. There was never a chance I was going to like this movie. Okay.
I don't know why. It wasn't that bad.
Because the first 2 are not good in my opinion.
What?
I did not like the first 2. The second one I was forced to watch. And the first one I saw in theaters. while it was a cool and like refreshing concept to horror at the time, I thought the entire story was stupid as it's predicated on two people being really fucking bad at survival, despite having two kids that they're responsible for. Dusty, do you know anything about the first movie?
I mean, he should
I
have
understand the premise, and that it's Emily Blunt and John Krasinski trying to stay alive by not making any noise.
They have a family of they have
a fucking baby.
They have 3 kids.
Yeah.
In the cold open of the movie.
It's like the Bird Box or whatever the fuck it is.
In the cold open of the movie, they have 3 children, one of which is I think he's deaf or some shit. Like, I don't even remember. The youngest kid. And he's just like being a fucking annoying asshole. Like basically just being an annoying
I don't know if he's
kid.
deaf or just stupid.
No, he's deaf. I think he was deaf. But he's just being fucking annoying, and he's playing with toys and fucking all sorts of shit. And he makes a loud noise and gets fucking immediately killed.
Snatched up. That shit was
So what
crazy.
I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
I know that A Quiet Place takes place after day 1, obviously.
Yeah,
how far after?
You're getting
day
way
1
ahead of me. You're getting way ahead of me. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. So you're just that's it. And then the movie fast forwards to like years later, and now they're pregnant with another baby. So like
stupid.
The story is predicated on a couple having a baby, which is one of the loudest things you could have in your life.
Yeah.
So
at a time where being quiet is fucking paramount to your survival. Okay?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest fucking concept for a story that I've ever seen, I think. And I've gotten kickback from people in my life at the time being like, well, accidents happen. Like, you have sex and you have babies. What are they supposed to do? Not have sex? Like, yeah. You have 2 other fucking kids to protect and yourselves. You could pull out. There's ways to not have a baby. And I understand accidents happen.
Well, I know Krasinski is credited as writer on the prequel. I would imagine he's the original writer.
Yeah.
And he was like, he probably had a kid with Emily Blunt, and they were like, you know what would be crazy? What if we had this kid and it couldn't ever cry? We could make a movie about that.
It's
like, that's what it feels like, the story of the premises to me.
Listen, having to be quiet is an interesting concept. I think it's interesting. But the baby part of it, that's what the whole plot is predicated on. It was just like, it's fucking stupid. These people put themselves in this situation. Like, I get accidents happen, but if you're fighting for your survival and you have 2 kids that you're responsible for, and like you had a 3rd kid that fucking died because of your, like, just, you slipped up one time and he fucking died instantly. You should know better. Okay. Very stupid.
Yeah. So having to be quiet, it is interesting, but it's not new.
No.
I mean, we saw it. We saw it in a lot of things, but we saw it like specifically in Don't Breathe, which was like
a much better movie.
A much better movie, yeah. So,
So listen, I hate this franchise. I will take it to my grave. I do not like it. I think it's stupid. There are things about it.
I think it says something when both Dan and I said we considered it for our worst 3.
Yeah. But
I think that was too much. I don't think it was that bad.
Well,
yeah, it was not that bad.
There's some redeeming
you're
parts
right.
of it.
I was being a jest. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is directed by Michael Sarnoski. He co-wrote the original with John Krasinski. John Krasinski directed the original one. Okay. I don't even remember what the fucking second movie was about, if I'm being honest.
I don't
with you.
either.
It was like Emily Blunt like running from some like cult or camp of some fucking weird shit. But this guy also directed Pig, which we were talking about Nicolas Cage earlier in his recent output of bangers. Pig is like regarded as like
a great movie,
one of his best movies. I still haven't watched it.
Oh,
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this movie, we have Lupita Nyong'o.
Dan's gonna watch it 4 years later, just like silent, and be like, "You guys were right. It's great."
I'm not arguing one way or the other. I just haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
All right. That's fair.
So this stars Lupita Nyong'o. She plays our main character, Samira. We got Joseph Quinn, as you mentioned, as Eric, Alex Wolff as Ruben, and a couple of other supporting figures. And it's a very simple plot. We're thrown into. It's a prequel to the alien invasion. We're seeing
in possibly the loudest city in the world.
Yeah, we're seeing the beginnings.
Can I tell you why I didn't like this real quick?
No, hang on,
Marvin.
We're seeing the beginnings of how this happens and how everything started, and it takes place in New York City. And our main character, it's told through the eyes of a woman who is she's dying of cancer. She's a terminal cancer patient. And she meets Joseph Quinn's character, who decides to follow her for some fucking weird reason to the ends of the earth. And that's basically the plot of the movie. So, Dusty, you could start.
Okay. Well, was it PlayStation or Xbox that made that cat game?
I think it was on all platforms, but I think maybe it was just PlayStation. I don't remember.
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like from the view of the cat.
Yeah, you played
Stray. It's called Stray.
Me feel like somebody played that game, was like, man, we could make a movie about this, but how would we make the cat the main character? I don't know. Cats are pretty quiet, a quiet place. We could just cash in, write somebody a check, and make a movie about it, because it felt more about the cat.
The cat was one of the redeeming
two people
parts of the movie. The cat was definitely a star in this. It was pretty good.
I mean, I understood the lady, her hatred for life because she's dying, and I get that. The guy just showing up, like the obligation to why he did it, we really don't know. Just being human, that's good, I guess. But it was just a weird movie for me. Just weird. I don't know. Marvin?
I actually enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't the best thing I've seen.
Yeah.
I didn't really get the obsession with trying to get the pizza. I mean, I kind of get it more towards the end when they explain like sentimental value of her going there after her dad performing and that sort of thing. But it wasn't a great prequel movie. No. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and it really wasn't necessary to explain. It didn't really explain anything. Mm-hmm. We didn't really get more insight into the monsters. Outside of, we saw that the invasion happened everywhere all at once, which was good to know, I guess, but not really necessary. But it was some cool stuff in there, like just typical like apocalypse day one type stuff is always just kind of cool to me.
If you like high tension and jump scares, this movie's for you.
That's all it really was. That's a good Letterbox review.
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. I don't think it was bad though.
You guys are touching on really the main issue I had with it is that, well, for one, I hate the franchise. So, like I said, destined to hate it.
Already biased, no bias.
However, one of the redeeming factors of the original movie, one of the few things that I enjoyed, was actually ruined by this movie, and that is the fact that we're thrown in as an audience. We're just thrown into, and this is what I was going to say. I was going to touch on, so I shut Dusty down. We're thrown into, as an audience, this mysterious world of there's an alien. Like, are they aliens? We don't really know in the first one.
That's exactly what I was telling. I watched it with C and her mom, and I was like, we didn't know for sure that they were aliens. It could have been like a government experiment or anything, right?
Anything, yeah.
But now we get the confirmation. So
we knew in the second one because we see because that.
See, I don't remember the second one, so that's
well, that's the other problem, right? So hang on. So the second one kind of served as a prequel and a sequel because there are flashback scenes in the first one.
Oh, that's what happened. Yeah.
To when the comet started falling.
Right. Yeah.
So why are we getting another prequel now?
More. Yeah.
So this isn't really a prequel because, like you said, we don't learn anything about anything really. It's just another story in this event, which is fine, but it really just ruined sort of what made the first one cool for me. Like, I don't need to know that comets fell and they're aliens, and I don't need to see them invading New York. Like, leave New York alone already. Like, for fuck's sake, there's other places.
Always New York.
There's other places in the world that are big cities that could be invaded too, by the way, just so you guys all in Hollywood know. There are other places that exist. And it's just like,
well, it's LA or New York. Those are it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of other cities. So in the first one, we don't know really what they are aside from like maybe aliens. We don't know how long this has been going on. We don't know how global, how widespread of an issue this is around the world.
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a very small like story about a family that did something very stupid. And it's a nice.
What was the horror movie where you don't really see the monster at all, and they did the spinoff? It was in New York as well.
No idea. Oh, wait. You talking about Cloverfield?
Yeah.
Cloverfield,
yes.
You see the monster, but briefly. Yeah. That's like a kaiju film. It's different.
Briefly.
But yeah, similar.
Yeah.
But the spinoff had nothing to do with that. It was just a different thing.
Sure.
Each one. They're anthologies. But anyhow, so the first one was a nice little like mystery it set up, and I think it's unnecessary for a prequel to exist. We don't need to see the day one invasion. Like, who fucking cares about it? Okay. And now, okay, so this movie
28 years later, that's a similar thing.
Exactly. Don't care. So now we're
okay.
I mean, I really don't. You know me. Like, I don't like. Why do we have to go back and see it? I don't like. Okay, you're gonna add something to it. Fine. This movie doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so this movie specifically chooses to focus on these characters.
I wouldn't know.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you would know because there's nothing in this movie that is like you have to see the other ones to know, other than the fact that like you have to be quiet.
I figured because it's a prequel.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if this is good, maybe I'll finally go watch A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2.
Don't bother.
And after watching this, I don't really feel a need to go watch those movies, even though it's Krasinski and Emma Blunt.
There is nothing.
I don't care.
There is Emily. There's nothing in this movie that necessitates a prequel to exist. It doesn't tell you anything. We already knew comets fell. We already knew they're aliens. We already knew you have to be quiet. It's just another story of another group of characters in a different place. And then that's where the issue with the movie comes in to me, because this should have been and could have been a somber and creative like meditation on death. Our main character is dealing with her own mortality. It's something we all deal with. We all know we're going to die someday. But when you have like a terminal illness, it probably hits a little bit different when you know your days are numbered, right?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a really interesting opportunity here to tell a pretty compelling story about a woman who knows she's dying, and then the apocalypse happens and how she handles that. And I don't think we got that. We just got some lame excuse to add the title of some other lame thing that was popular on some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't think they were too far off base. If you were terminal and something like that happened, you would probably be a little aloof or lackadaisical and be like, yeah,
totally.
I don't give a fuck. Like, if they kill me, I just want to go get a pizza from the pizza place I love. But I want a New York slice. Like, I get that.
But beyond that,
like, that was one of the few things I could get behind.
But beyond that, there's not much depth to her character development. Other than that,
absolutely not. Yeah,
and the other people's characters were just non-existent. You know what I mean?
I mean, so you go into this movie and you're like, okay, there's a couple things that are going to happen here. The cat's going to meow and it dies or gets somebody killed.
Right.
Or one of them is going to sacrifice himself to save the cat and the other person because it's a 3-person dynamic.
Yeah.
Or 3-being dynamic, not 3-person, I guess, if cats aren't people.
Yep. Is that it? Oh. So, yeah, I don't know. I just I just don't really understand what the purpose of this was. Like, you know, there's value in a spinoff with different characters, but like then your characters weren't really that strong. So it's like, well, what's the point? And like you said, it's a cash grab. It's a throw a Quiet Place on it, make the movie, fucking sell it, done. My biggest gripe with this movie was, and this is a Dusty gripe, and I'm curious if we had the same one, but I thought it was really
the boat horn.
No, I thought it was really stupid that in the beginning of the movie, in the time that she got knocked out from the explosion and then woke up, the entire city seemingly was able to puzzle out that these creatures are blind and acutely are attracted to sound. Like, yeah, it was just such a bizarre and impressive thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this.
Convenient.
I thought it was kind of boring. It didn't add anything. I think if you're a fan of this franchise, it doesn't add anything. Like, I don't really outside of the good acting, because I think Lupita Nyong'o did a really great job and Joseph Quinn did a good job. I think the acting was good. Other than that, not many things I liked about it. What were you gonna say? And he's frozen.
Oh shit!
I was gonna say if you're humans and you're trying, am I back yet?
You're back.
If you're humans and you're trying to evacuate humans and you know they're attracted to sound, Why are you pulling up in a boat and honking the horn on the boat?
Well, they can't
where
swim.
people are supposed to get on the boat.
Yeah, they couldn't swim. So I think people... You feel
they're
like
honking the horn and trying to get close to the shore.
dry.
They're like, hey,
yeah, to the shore.
Yeah, you guys come get on the boat over here. Here's the boat. Like, it just felt like we look out the window and there's a boat there. Well, we don't know if it's alive or
well, that's what I'm saying.
If it's a floating dead boat. So let's honk the horn and bring in the fucking aliens to make it dramatic at the end, and somebody has to fucking die. It's stupid. That's
what I'm saying. It's like the logic in these movies just never tracks. And that was like my biggest gripe with the first one. As I'm going to repeat myself. It's like, hey, being quiet is integral to our survival and the survival of our children who we love dearly. We saw the consequences of what happens when we like misstep, even slightly. So we're going to have a fucking child? Like,
right.
I get it. Accidents happen, but that's not how the first one presented their child being born. They present it as if they did it purposefully to replace, like, you can't replace a child, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, just the logic doesn't track. And I don't know. I've just never really been on board with these movies. I don't really understand why the first one was so popular. And again, this is going to sound a little pretentious, but you know, I think a lot of times I just have a more a broader palette when it comes to horror movies, that like cheap little things like this just like don't do it for me. I'm just like, it's a little bit lame.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, every time I watch one of these movies, I feel bad for you because if shit like that were to actually happen, you would have to bug in until the first wave or 2 or 3 or 4 or however fucking many there are, subsided before you could do anything.
Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, there's
mega
some
metropolitan areas.
There's some tense moments in this movie. There's some tense moments in the first one, and it's like,
I thought Lupita was great.
Yeah, she's great. She's a great actor. I love her.
She did good.
I just, I don't think it was any of the actors' fault. This movie, it's like I don't understand what was the point? What were they trying to do here? So that's really my final thoughts on it.
Trying to make money.
It's cash grab.
Any other thoughts?
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to say about it?
Nah, not really. Did this go to theaters?
It almost made the list.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Yep. Almost made the list, but there are definitely worse
funny.
movies we've seen, so at least it's got that. But it has a 6.4 on IMDb. I'd probably give this like 5.5, I think, like a 5.5 for me. It's got to go lower than a 6.
It's a 5.5.
It's probably like a 6.
5.5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you the bump. The bump down, but
it is a little bit down. But
hey, listen,
it's quite mid.
This is your fault, Marvin. Just remember that.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, what are we watching next week? Do we have it on the calendar? Do we know?
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll talk about it after. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us, folks. There's our thoughts on A Quiet Place Day 1. Let us know what you thought of this film. Leave a comment down below letting us know. If you have not done so, consider subscribing. If you have already and you're a returning customer, we appreciate it. Again, this is our 100th episode. We appreciate anybody that's been consistent in listening and supporting us and liking and sharing and all that good stuff. So keep doing all that. And
9 away from 700.
Yep, we're almost at 700. So hit that sub button. Come on, let's go. Hit it right now. Right now. But we will catch you guys next week. We don't know what we're talking about yet, but we'll be here. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.
See ya.
Hasta.